It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Robinson's Brewery, and this is a bottle of their Trooper Day of the Dead special edition label. It's a 4.7% ABV beer. There's a look at the bottle cap. Brewed in Cheshire in England. Without further ado then, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. Ooh, it's a bit sticky. So this one's going to be brewed for Halloween. We got a 1 finger white head, good levels of carbonation, amber coloured ale. It's not, well, there's a little bit of sediment floating around in the glass. It's quite a nice coloured beer, to be honest. A coloured beer, a amber beer, which you would fully expect from a regional brewery. They like to produce these amber coloured beers. It's almost as if you got Shepherd Neame down in Kent, Robinson's up near Manchester way, Marston's in Birmingham, McEwan's up in Scotland, Badger down in Dorset, and they all seem to be, they're in completely different parts of the country. Brains over here in Wales, different parts of the country, yet you can guarantee that even though there's hundreds of miles between all of these breweries, they all seem to produce the same coloured beer. Has anybody ever noticed that before? Questioned it, queried it? I suppose if we're thinking about this very, very quickly, of course, it's a bit like New England IPA, I suppose. Lots of people like it, lots of people want to drink it, so lots of people are brewing it, and brewing it to how a New England IPA should be brewed, and that's hazy and cloudy and straw coloured. So back in the day, what I imagine with these breweries was people wanted to drink this chestnutty coloured beer, so they've been brewing the same thing for well over 100 years, the same coloured beer. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting how kind of these things go about. Let's get the aroma. And even the aroma, I mean, if you give me a glass of this in a blind tasting, I would say it's a bit like Old Speckled Hen. Nutty, chestnutty, biscuity, straw-like, berry-like. Slightly kind of stinging nettle-like with the hops. Spicy and peppery. Interesting, isn't it? Really, really interesting. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, and it kind of tastes the same as these beers have tasted for the last 150 years. I'm not going to go hard on this beer. I went hard on the last one where they produced an IPA, and it didn't taste too different to this, to be honest. It was a malty, biscuity, bready beer that they decided to call it an IPA. And I really went to town with Robinson's because I thought it was a really lazy thing to do. Just relabel a beer and call it an IPA. Same beer, different label. Really lazy. And I really went to town. And some of you who are watching this review have probably tuned into this one to see what I'm going to say about this one, but I'm going to be lenient. I'm going to be lenient with this beer because they haven't put IPA on a label. They've called it a Cheshire Ale. It's biscuity, it's bready, it's spicy, it's peppery. There's no off flavours. It's carbonated. There's some toffee malt coming through. It's very syrupy. These brewers, they use a lot of brewer's syrup these days, whatever the hell brewer's syrup is. But you can taste it. It's cloyny. It's sweet. It's lazy. It is lazy. I'm not going to get away from that fact. It is lazy brewing these days with these regionals. And I'm going to stick by what I said. I will stick by what I said in the last Robinson's IPA video, is that if these brewers are not careful, they're gonna fall out of the sky. And yes, everybody's complaining about the pubs opening back up, and a lot of the pubs have been lost because of the pandemic. But I know places that are absolutely thriving. Brand new bars that have opened that are absolutely thriving because they're selling New World beer. They're selling all your New England IPAs and your Imperial Stouts and your barley wines and, you know, really good quality craft lagers. And, you know, it's expensive. It's not cheap to drink this stuff, but they're absolutely thriving. And I think what's happened with the regionals is they've gone down this business model of they'd rather sell meals in their pubs and the beer's second best. The beer's not even on the agenda anymore. As long as the beer tastes half decent, they don't mind, they don't really care. And it's a real shame. It's a real shame that they're more food-led places these days. But that's the way of the world. I'm not ranting. I'm just observing. I'm just drinking this thinking, this is the same stuff that I was drinking 11, 12 years ago when I first got into beer. Nothing has changed whatsoever. Nothing's likely to change. They might change if some of these regionals, your Green Kings, your Robinsons, your Marstons, if they start getting into financial trouble because of their beers just not selling, then you might see them changing on the way down as they're about to hit the buffers. But it's too late. It's way too late then. You're going to get a new breed of brewers that come through that are going to open chains of pubs. I mean, you've only got to look at Brewdog. Okay, Brewdog beers are not the greatest example of craft beer, but they're definitely doing a better job than the old-fashioned regional brewers. Even the cat's got a little say-so on it as well. So I'm going to rate it. Let's get the rest of the beer in the glass. I'm going to rate it. It's not for me. It's not for me. It looks okay. It smells okay. It's just... it's just not great beer. It's just really, really boring beer. Just hope they change. Nothing else to say really. This is a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.